Hello friends and welcome to today where it is -7 degrees out here in the Swedish countryside. But I am not the weatherman today. I am not even a weather girl. Instead, I am a chocolate connoisseur. And the hot chocolate topic of today is of course woke culture and M&M's. So before we begin, last week I was eating M&M's and they didn't have the M on them. None of them. Completely M free, and they weren't cheap or anything. So this is a formal complaint and hopefully I will receive a refund and possibly even more M&M's. So, woke culture. It's kind of a weird topic, I think, because it's kind of an insult right now. That's kind of how it seems to be used. I guess because there's an implied disingenuousness about it. Is that what you say? Disingenuity? Just disingenuousness behind it. As though woke culture isn't culture, but kind of like a way of presenting thoughts and ideas without having any real substance behind them. So it's kind of like, a presentation, or I wouldn't necessarily call it a facade because that kind of has like implied sinisterness behind it. Sinisterity. But it definitely, there's a certain amount of hollowness behind these sort of woke culture things that come up. But where do M&M's come into this is obviously a very important question. So in a recent press release, the producer of M&M's, which is the Mars company, they have announced that M&M's will be redesigned in order to highlight their character instead of their gender. First of all, I have to add that Mars actually called the M&M gang lentils, like we're making a mean winter soup with Miss Green, who actually will no longer be called Miss Green. She will, and all the other characters will be having their titles removed, so no more politely referring to their names. Perhaps they will be given first names instead. Even more strangely would be the statement that orange is the most relatable to Gen Z, which is, and I quote, the most anxious generation. No one relates to M&M's though. And secondly, anxiety isn't a personality trait. And I personally think that one of the big problems with mental health is not being able to separate yourself from your illness. But I guess I'm too old now to talk about younger people's mental health issues. So, brown M&M, her heels will be lowered to a professional height. I think that that's so weird because it's like they, by saying that, they are saying, I think that they think that high heels are slutty, unprofessional, not a good look on women, so not woke at all. But beside all of the silliness and weird ways that we are talking about chocolate right now, wokeness isn't really a bad or even a new thing, because the reality is that companies, they change their advertising to entice their desired audience, and this has always been the case. So if half or more of their desired customers were racist, for example, they'd make racist ads, unless there was a law against it. But, as times change and as more people adopt certain views, political leanings, religious ideologies, or rejections thereof, companies change their marketing. There wouldn't, for example, be much point in advertising or declaring that God loves M&M's in a relatively agnostic country like Sweden, for example, because it wouldn't entice Swedish buyers. But obviously that's just a silly example, but it gives you, a picture of where, companies advertise for the customers, not for their own personal beliefs. So money talks, obviously, and if you want money from certain groups, you have to be able to entice them. And you want your advertising money to work pretty hard for you. You don't want to be spending money on advertising campaigns that aren't going to work. So when we see articles like this, it's important to remember that M&M's and any other company are not an instigator of social change. They are always following a few steps behind, playing catch up and making strategic moves to stay in the mind and consciousness of their potential customers. So M&M's and of course the Mars company, they shouldn't be attacked for their change in advertising. They shouldn't be praised for it either, of course. But I think they should merely be mocked and derided for their strange wording and weird analysis of their own characters. They're really out here saying that Mr. Red is too mean. And my personal favourite, that M&M's will be having their body shapes changed to reflect more than one body type. Like, what? First of all, there is already different body shapes with the M&M's, because you got like the obviously really round ones, but then you've got like the sort of elongated oval ones. And either way, they are thick, like damn, more curves than a Kardashian. So what's next? Lumpy space princess M&M, perhaps? I don't know what the final outcome of this will be, but I'm sure it will be a disaster. But my love of M&M's will never change, I don't think. But I swear that the M&M's in Europe taste different from the ones in New Zealand and are not as good as the ones in New Zealand. So please send M&M's. I'm dying here. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys all in the next video. Have a wonderful week and watch out for the yellow snow. Hey door.